Hey everyone, this is Mike, and this is my Module 3 reading journal for The Secret Life of Groceries. Uh, we had two questions this module. The first one was, what does Laura mean when he says flavor and quality are not first or even third level considerations when buying items for a grocery store? What are some of the other considerations? I think page 130 did a really good job of listing those out. Uh, in them were sales goals and volume, production lead time, shipping costs, the cost of the product, the needs and goals of individual buyers, which I thought was a really interesting one, and the potential for trade spend dollars, which we'll get to on the second question. It also outlined consistent shelf life, consistent production facilities, and consistent commodity price. And on page 134, when they were talking about the headspace of the buyers, talking about how they don't see in terms of quality of product. They taste in reams of data broken down into discrete metrics with an eye on two numbers at the end: total sales dollars and gross profit. So before this module, I could really see how flavor and quality were probably not the highest considerations for buyers, but after this module and all the considerations that buyers have to look at, I can see how for some buyers, flavor and quality may not even be a consideration. There just may be too many other metrics for them to consider. That's why they won't taste test. That's not relevant to them. Uh, but that leads me into the second question. Describe trade spend, and how does this practice affect the sustainability of food products? Trade spend was described on page 136 as a pay to play to get your product on the shelf. What you pay the buyers to be part of the system. They listed a couple different ways that this money is extracted: slotting fees, promotion fees, free fill, advertising fees, and radio network fees. Page 138 outlined that in 2015, trade spend added up to $76 billion, was the second highest cost for entrepreneurs, and 55% of the spending was extractive and did not help build the brand. But the book also mentions that these relationships can be mutually beneficial. For example, free product given to Costco for samples, in my experience, has led me to purchase products that I otherwise wouldn't have. I've got a box of Indian lentils that they were sampling a year ago, and they didn't smell great, they didn't look great, but they tasted phenomenal, and the price was right. And I sampled it one time, and I've purchased that product 5 or 6 times since. So that tiny little sample cup really did help bring in a customer that never would have purchased that product otherwise. So I can see how trade spend can be used mutually beneficially, but I can also see how for emerging businesses it can be an albatross around their neck, and for people that are unfamiliar, they stand to be taken advantage of. But when reflecting on how the practice of trade spending affects sustainability of food products, I'm a lot less concerned about when trade spending takes advantage of corporations, and more concerned about when corporations can take advantage of trade spending. In the module reading Michael Moss's Salt, Sugar, and Fat, I thought it did a really good job of outlining the ethics of these corporations and why we probably shouldn't fully trust them to make these decisions. Chapter 1 did a really good job of outlining how sustainability, whether environmental or in terms of human health, will take a back seat similar to flavor and quality in term for profit or for any of the other metrics that they're interested in. Coca-Cola, Kraft, Nestle, and Philip Morris funding research at Manel did not sit right with me, especially when half of that research is being publicly funded and these corporations get access to this data early so they can use it on taxpayers. I'm dismayed that large producers can buy and use research to better target potential customers like Frito-Lay did with African American adolescents and salt in the 1980s. And then even if their products are unhealthy or unsustainable, they can use trade spending to buy that product space in stores. It all feels unethical, and I don't have a great solution for trade spending, but after that supplementary reading, I do have a solution for that first half, we shouldn't let Philip Morris or any of those companies be getting access to that research. They shouldn't be funding it. Publicly funded should be publicly funded. So, uh, a lot of problems, but I think first and foremost, we just shouldn't. We should take what these companies do and their ethics and what they say with a little grain of salt. But that's all the time I have. It was great talking to you all, and I'll see you all next week.